Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another 1v1 part of the SC2CL games for the 19th of June. And we're having Pwnanza versus NG. Pwnanza, the player on the right, against Brainmudd from NG. Of course, we're going to be having a PvT here in Terminus RE. And we have Brainmudd, the green Terran, at the top. 12 o'clock position of Terminus RE. Gonna duke it out against SkiZ of Pwnanza team at the 6 o'clock position, here the orange Protoss. So, Terminus RE, pretty interesting map. You've got a small ramp, and then you've got a pretty wide choke point here, which is relatively easy to defend your natural expansion and your main with that, since you only have to cover this small space. Then you've got a third base here which you can take very easily, and unfortunately there are some destructible rocks over here which allow for access into your third base instead of having to go through this choke point. So it's not extremely easy to defend the three bases, but it's very easy to defend two of them. And but of course you always have to fear if you put some cannons over here, for example, that enemy units might kill the destructible rocks and do all this path here and attack your natural expansion for free. And meanwhile, we see a barracks coming down near the ramp for Brainmudd, whilst the gateway is also under construction, warping in here for SkiZ. Nothing too out of the ordinary yet. The gas being dropped for Brainmudd. And we're probably going to be heading here over into a nice long macro game, which are of course the most interesting. And let's see if Brainmudd decides to go for the orbital at 15, or will he get the tech lab first. And it would seem to me that he's going to go for the orbital ASAP. And indeed that's the standard here. Yeah, his gas was a bit too late. And a few SCVs attacking the probe, actually. That's kind of interesting. And the first Marine is coming out. The cybernetics core is on construction, as the assimilator is about mined the amount of gas necessary for that warp gate technology. And here we see the second barracks. Did SkiZ see that? Yes, he does see the second barracks here. So he knows that a bio-heavy composition is going to be coming, and SkiZ definitely wants to keep this probe alive for as soon as possible, but it's going to counter the Marine retreating to safety. And here we go. Warp gate technology being researched now. This probe is going to die, but it is going to see that tech lab on the barracks. And one shot left. 2 shots left on that probe, as a second gateway gets dropped for SkiZ, which Brainmudd is going to, of course, see that. And most of the chrono boost, if not all of it, has been spent on the Nexus. So we get into 25 chrono boost again. We'll see where that chrono boost is spent. And it seems nowhere just yet. Skeleton Stalker out. You definitely don't want to attack with that on this map, because there will be Marauders out with possibly concussive shells, and that would thwart your attack very easily. We see more Marines and Marauders being produced, small supply blockage there, and the factory in production as well for Brainmudd. Definitely an interesting build choice here. 2 barracks into factory, not something I see too often, to be completely honest. And the third gateway is also being constructed for SkiZ, so an expansion should be coming momentarily here for him, as you don't want to get more than 3 gateways before the expansion. Factory nearly complete. The second gas now being taken for Brainmudd, and that's a nice timing here on the geyser, so he's going to be able to have enough gas for a tank, or maybe for stim, which he just now started. He's going to have enough gas for a tank, I believe, when this gas is finished. And he decides to get that. And a robotics facility coming up for SkiZ, so all in is the way to go here. as we see that you cannot support more than this from one single base. So no more minerals, no minerals are going to be saved up for SkiZ. He definitely wants to do a lot of damage with this build order, or else he's going to be far behind with no expansion. But as we see, the Terran player does not have an expansion either. And oh, the Terran player, 2 force fields used on that, but still all of these units were killed. And now SkiZ is free to attack. He's got 20 supply more than his opponent, and these force fields now preventing his units from attacking, but they are soon gonna move out. There we go. No probe with them. Yes, will that probe go with that army? It seems likely. And indeed, he wants to draw a pylon near his opponent's base, so he can warp in units. And meanwhile, siege tank and siege tanks coming up. The engineering bay was also constructed by Brainmudd, so he's going to be able to get those upgrades. But of course, off one base, you cannot really support 2 racks, 1 factory, and getting those upgrades all at once, just like you can't really support 3 production facilities as Terran on one base. You can support 3 racks, but getting a lot of Marines, you don't really have the gas for any of it, of those 3 production facilities. And here the pylon is being constructed over here, and very nice choice to drop the expansion now, as he's putting a lot of pressure onto his opponent. Siege tech has finished, so no chance for no chance for SkiZ to do a lot of damage. But of course, this contain is going to prevent his opponent from securing his own expansion, and it's going to allow him to secure his expansion. So nice choice there to contain his opponent. Hopefully he's not going to be going for any sort of attack onto that defense there. And he's got the observer seeing everything there is to see, and he sees the siege tank, he sees the factory working. Oh, nice by Brainmudd. Scans and kills the observer out. Fantastic choice there. I don't really like that by SkiZ, moving out with his units. I would have definitely stayed there and contained him for a bit, and then left once I had secured my expansion. But SkiZ obviously decided not to do that. He is now getting a robotics facility for those Colossi, and he's got a nice group of units here. His expansion is now finished, and Terran's expansion is about to complete as well inside the base. One lonely Hellion, not going to completely kill that. But of course the Marines are... Yes, the Stalker is going to die for free. Not really a good choice by SkiZ. Of course, those concussive shells do slow down units. And a nice amount of gas and minerals for SkiZ. He's not supply blocked, so he should be getting the Colossus pretty quickly here. He definitely needs that against the bio composition his opponent is going for. Notice a lot of Marines and Marauders over here. Just 3 tanks, which can wreak quite some havoc onto a gateway army. Not really against Colossi. And SkiZ, what are you doing here? Starport? Come on. There's a starport. Well, the Stargate. My bad. And wow, 3 factories out for Brainmudd. Definitely not expecting that. So he's going into pure mech style, which will be easily countered by the Stargate play. And of course, Hellions or tanks do not attack air. The expansion is now going to be secured for Brainmudd. And meanwhile, ooh, double Stargate here. Wow. For SkiZ, so that's pretty interesting. Don't know I really agree with that, but we'll see how it all turns out. Just a few Marines here, less than 16 Marines. Bunch of SCVs being transferred. So Void Race could do a lot of damage. And meanwhile, Chrono Boost not being used here. Really, Fleet Beacon. Wow. Carriers are going to be coming, so we're going to be seeing some, hearing some carrier has arrived action. Actually, I'm not sure if carriers say that anymore in StarCraft 2. I know they did in StarCraft Brood War, so pretty awesome stuff here. A Fleet Beacon, of course, gonna allow to make a mothership as well. If the Terran player does not have proper detection, which 2 scans are the maximum the Terran player will ever have in 2 bases, Of course, no starport yet, so no ravens can be made. Then this mothership could do a lot of damage, especially with so few marines. Just over 16 now, getting near the 24 count. 24 marines, not really good, and especially if they get focused. Carriers, wow, double carriers. Wow, I mean, wow. Never seen this in my entire life. This is pretty interesting here, and taking another base as well. Now the Terran player does see, he scans, and he's going to be seeing the army of SkiZ, and the timing on the attack by the Terran player is going to be so good against SkiZ. SkiZ does not have enough units to defend against this. And if we remember correctly, there was an engineering bay. No upgrades have been researched yet, as a lot of Hellions are coming. A lot of tanks are being made. And here is the attack. Tanks sieging up, stim being used, and Colossi do so much damage. SkiZ definitely does not want to engage when the... oh no, I was sure we get skill. SkiZ does not want to engage when stim is up. He wants to force stims, make them waste HP, and then attack when stim is not up. That way his units will slowly die by themselves without doing any damage, and then they will be easily killed off. But as we see, he's going to try to attack again. Definitely does not want to, but another stim being used by the Terran, and now there's just too many units for SkiZ. The carriers are here, not doing very much. Too many stalkers, gonna be able to clean this whole army up, and the Colossi in the back not getting hit at all, and not being focused either. Instead of focusing the stalkers, definitely not the greatest choice of all. Colossi just doing so much damage, sieging the tanks up, definitely not the best choice here. Being able to escape is much better, and SkiZ will soon turn his focus onto these carriers. Probably when he has 4 of them, he will move onto this base and just, I would dare say, straight up win, because there's no anti-air at all for the Terran player and 4 carriers. Those are a lot of carriers, especially with the upgrade for launching interceptors more quickly, which is really a potent upgrade in those carriers, especially during the first and second waves of attacks. And notice that a lot of tanks, a lot of Hellions, just 6 Marines. 6 Marines against 4 carriers. Not really sure of the outcome of the battle. If I had to bet, I'd say the carriers may win, maybe. I don't know. Carriers moving out now. They're going to join the main army in the entrance of the battlefield here, in the entrance of the choke point. A lot of tanks are in the front, and these carriers would just be able to clean everything up, as Brainmudd is seeing the 4 carriers, and SkiZ is gonna just wreak havoc here. Few Marines being pulled down, but definitely not enough to deal with the 4 carriers. Stim being used, but as you know, carriers can attack whilst retreating, at least that's what I thought. And will one carrier die? It seems that no carrier will die, and now Brainmudd is gonna attack, but the units are in position here. No, don't engage, and indeed only 1 True Stalkers died. These carriers doing a lot of damage, and the GG by Brainmudd comes. Excellent choice there, reading his opponent perfectly by SkiZ, knowing the tank path, knowing that his opponent was going pure mech, knowing that Hellions and tanks don't attack air. Well, that's not really something you have to know. But SkiZ doing the perfect read and going for those carriers, and there was just no anti-air from Brainmudd to be able to deal with that. So, great stuff.